Jak and Daxter, the precursor legacy, set the tone early for the PlayStation 2, and Naughty Dog is an established first-party developer, becoming one of the best games of 2001, and their plan was to create a sequel better in every way. Because the team understood the game engine more, they only had to make a few technical tweaks and spent almost all their time with design, which is the complete opposite of the time spent on the precursor legacy. Jak II was released for the PlayStation 2 on October 2003, 2 years after the precursor legacy, and a month before Ratchet & Clank Going Commando. It was seen as the turning point for Naughty Dog as a developer, and looks more obvious as the years go by. You see, Naughty Dog are currently focused on Uncharted and The Last of Us, which are considered mature. The first Jak and Daxter was set in a colourful island with a lot of imagination here, but things were about to change.
For every age, there is a time of trial. The rocks faced such a fire before they were the strength beneath our feet. The plants braved vast winds before their roots could give us life. As a sage of considerable years, I have known only one such great ordeal. Yet the hero it created was a champion for all time.
Set after the events of the predecessor, Kira is testing out one of her new machines, the Rift Rider, that takes advantage of the precursor ring earned from 100% completion in the predecessor. But then a creature is summoned and sends him through a portal into a dystopian city.
That's the last time I ever touch any stupid precursor crap!
There he is.
Jak is immediately captured by the guards, but Daxter flees. For 2 years, Jak is subjected to dark eco experiments led by Baron Praxis. He is set to be executed the next day, but while Jak is left alone, Daxter comes to the rescue.
I'm gonna kill Praxis.
Sheesh! Remind me not to piss you off!
Jak and Daxter escape from the prison and join an underground resistance led by the Shadow, as well as doing odd jobs for gangs and reuniting with familiar faces in order to get back home.
We've been, sightseeing, right, Jak?
Really? Then why are the Crimson Guard looking for a dangerous young man with light hair, blue tunic, and a rabbit orange rat on his shoulder?
Could be anyone. Orange is the new black this season.
Firstly, Daxter is not as annoying this time because he doesn't open his mouth as often.
Don't say it. Don't even chuckle.
He's the light comedy in this dark setting, and always taking the most punishment.
Do something, Jak! This guy's crazy! This place has too much excitement.
Okay, sorry.
No, thank you. Talking immediately increases the charisma between you two.
That's fine. I want the Baron to know that it's me who's hurting him.
After years in prison, it's like he came out of his shell and now he's the one pulling the strings. He's not reacting based on the situation. He's an angry, revengeful Jak who wants to kill Praxis, and you can hear it in his voice.
You look like a reasonably smart man. I want information. Where the hell am I?
There's a reason Jak is the only character in the title. He's finally the star of the game. But why they didn't name it Jak and Daxter 2, I'll never understand. All the supporting characters are entertaining as hell. In the predecessor, there were random encounters all over the island. You will obtain a power cell and never see them again. In Jak II, you work with a majority of characters more than once. Whatever you do, it affects what's next for everyone involved.
Stop that! This is serious, you moron.
Wah! That's right. Don't mess with the sugar.
This is definitely a better written story than the precursor legacy, but this was developed by Naughty Dog, so it's not that surprising.
Goons to harass me as usual, eh? Health violations, back taxes. Everyone wants a piece of me. Oh well.
Lucky for you, there's plenty to go around.
Crash Bandicoot was released 7 years before this. The Naughty Dog fanbase was growing up, and Jason Rubin took notice because presentation-wise, it's such a huge shift from the precursor legacy. It's one of the darkest 3D platformers I've ever played. Sure, Conker's Bad Fur Day is more inappropriate, but Jak II has that serious tone about it. Technologically, it's one of the best looking games on the PlayStation 2. This is the PlayStation 3 HD remaster, which appears better, but if you have this on the PS2, it still looks magnificent.
Yeah, I know. Scratch me there.
The character models are more detailed, lots going on screen at once, and again, there are no loading times throughout the entire city even when entering the outskirts. You see, when you think of Jak and Daxter, you also think of Ratchet & Clank, two fantastic PlayStation exclusives in the same genre and generation.
Yeah.
I was hoping for more Easter eggs from the Lombax and his robot companion, but this billboard is the only thing I can find. Ratchet is a playable character in Jak X Combat Racing, but that's about it. Because it's open world, the one thing I forgot to mention in my review of the predecessor, it has a day and night cycle. I find it pointless because you don't have a save system advancing time, and no mission requires you to arrive at a particular time, so it's basically for aesthetic's sake. As we can already tell, unlike the precursor Legacy, which feels like a PlayStation version of Banjo-Kazooie, Naughty Dog capitalized on the popularity of Grand Theft Auto. Remember how popular GTA games were back in the early to mid 2000s? Haven City is an open world with more freedom of choice and a log of missions to complete. A map is indicated on the bottom right of the screen, and the city can be accessed in the menu. I wish it was there during the mission though. Also, you have to scroll through the menu to open up the full map, which takes a couple of seconds. Why can't the select button be the map? All it does is pause it, and nothing else. So it has two pause buttons. After playing Ratchet & Clank Going Commando recently, I can't help but press select because of my natural instinct. It's a tedious issue that could have been fixed in a matter of seconds, at least for the PS3 HD remaster. Anyway, you're not as distracted in Haven City, like you can't go on a rampage the same way you would in GTA. There's not as much to do, and it doesn't match the level of chaos. It's thanks in large part to most of the city making you take the longest possible route. See this piece of paper? Point A to B? That's what the city is like for the first few hours of Jak II. Fortunately, the expanded parts of the map are more open space, and it makes it much easier to move around. The vehicles control the same as Kirizuma, but this time you'll be on one more often. They can go 2 different elevations in order to avoid traffic, but it takes a couple of bumps for a vehicle to be destroyed. Traffic is heavy, so learn to change elevations and switch from one vehicle to another as quickly as possible. Whenever a guard is hit, the whole city is after you, like having 2 stars wanted in GTA, unless you hide from them. It takes around 20-30 seconds out of sight to lose them like nothing happened. Also like, you know what.
If you think you've got the guts to race in this town, try taking my prototype jetboard out on the stadium course.
Here's another indicator of Naughty Dog capitalizing on a popular franchise. The Tony Hawk Pro Skater games control better than this hoverboard, but it's mostly used on a few obstacles. Just don't forget how to grind. The real stages begin once you reach the outskirts. This is where the heart of the game lies. You visit these outside spots more than once, but you're always taking a new route, so every mission is different. These are very well designed levels. Instead of finding power cells and precursor orbs on an island, you're basically doing work for different people. Remember what the Dark Eco could do in the predecessor? Well, after years of torture, now it's your strength.
Now he's got super moves or something.
When the meter is full after picking up bits of Dark Eco, you can turn into the Alter Ego for faster movement and more powerful melee attacks for a brief moment. And these skull gems that look like medicine tablets can be traded to an oracle for new special attacks. Then I find it's pretty much useless because weapons do more severe damage. Instead of having your own arsenal, you have a morph gun that's multi-purpose and can turn into a scattergun, semi-automatic laser-sighted blaster, and a rapid-fire Vulcan barrel. The precursor orbs are used to unlock secrets. Even though there are 286 of them scattered all over the city, you only need to find 200 to unlock every secret.
Where would you be without me, eh, Dax?
Well, Jack, I probably wouldn't be 2 feet tall, fuzzy, and running around in a sewer without a pair of pants.
Jak controls exactly like the predecessor, which means it has the same headaches too, but they're only minor. Jak can roll, high jump, double jump, spin attack, punch, and shoot his way through anyone that stands in his way. The camera still can't move up or down, but you can go into first person. Can I use the morph gun with this view? Nope. The only thing about the controls I hate is not being able to strafe, because trying to aim at your enemy while dodging gunfire at the same time without strafing adds unnecessary frustration to an already ruthless game. I don't want to start the entire mission again just because of this one enemy I can only shoot when he shoots at me. Jak II is one of the hardest 3D platformers I have ever played, and it's not like I should have expected it. The precursor Legacy was easy. This will constantly piss you off almost to the point of turning into Dark Jak himself, if you're not into games like Dark Souls, Battletoads, and Ninja Gaiden. And I thought Ratchet & Clank Going Commando caught me off guard with its difficulty.
Yeah, whatever.
Enemies are more intimidating and overpowered, like here for example. How many can there be? The curve is all over the place. At the beginning, you could be getting familiar with the controls, then on the second mission, this thing in the pumping station will tear you apart. Health is just as scarce, so don't be fooled by the longer life bar. You can only take 4 hits. But the worst thing about Jak II is the lack of checkpoints. I think it's because some of the missions are small and take about 5 to 10 minutes to complete. Also, GTA games around that time, missions didn't have any checkpoints either. So maybe the game designers got too carried away when they were trying to emulate the formula. Some missions literally have 0 checkpoints, and considering how much you have to do along with lack of health on the way, simply downright cheap.
Well, if it's too hard for you, I understand. Power stuff can be tricky.
But when I truly began to think about it, the hard part is figuring out the easiest way to complete a mission. For example, on the water slums crawling with infinite guards, just use a hoverboard all the way, and the infamous drill platform. Once I found out a turret has an overheat system and let go of the trigger more often, it was a breeze. It's all about trial and error and discovering the correct strategy.
You can count on us.
Still, every time I stopped playing this, it was the result of rage quitting. It got to the point where I considered cancelling all plans on reviewing Jak II because it's that hard. Jak II is a game I have a love-hate relationship with. You have a brand new map to explore with better characters, more gameplay time, well-designed levels, and it began Naughty Dog's shift into mature content. But the lack of checkpoints would drive you crazy. If I played it a second time, it would probably be easier. I don't want to know. I don't think I'll ever play Jak II again, especially on hero mode. I mean, how can it get any harder? It's like the game wants me to hate its guts if it had any. It briefly did a good job of it, but every time I cooled off and came back, I would always progress further. It can be a rewarding experience.
You're a genius.
Whether this spectacular sequel is ruined by the difficulty or not depends on your idea of a challenge. Play this game at your own risk.